One sec, I need to turn my fan on. Hope everybody's doing good. Alright, so we have a barrier and a paddle class that we need to implement. Paddle. And that. I hate that it adds this prefix. I'm going to need to update that so it doesn't do that. Okay. Let's see. What does the paddle have? Paddle has the position and acceleration. Okay, so for now I'll just do. I need to make the position class. But I think what I'll do first is I'll make a directory for our physics. And this is where we can put all of our physics over here. So we can do class, acceleration, there we go. Okay. Let's see, an acceleration, if I'm thinking about it. Yeah, it's got quite a few. It's just got two member variables. So ddx and then this. Double DDY, and then our regular default constructor just takes and then we have a velocity. Anyone here knows how to get it to stop adding the prefix to this file? Let me know, because it's annoying me. I could probably look it up, but okay, we got a velocity here. Let's see. Okay, yeah, velocity is gonna have x and y speeds. So yeah, double dx and double dy. And then, yep, just like that. Just double checking. Line this up, make it look nicer. And then we have our getters, setters, and then we also have our add. And that's pretty much it for that. Oh, can you guys hear me okay? I guess I haven't even tested the audio. Oh, can you guys hear me okay? Okay, I think I heard myself on there. Should be good. Okay, and then I guess we can make a directory for like the game files. So like, let's see, parts of the game. So like, I'm trying to think. Mechanics. I'll just say parts maybe. Yeah, I'll just call parts. And then that is where we would have the paddle. The player is not a part. The barrier is a part. And then the ball is a part. So we need a class for ball. And let me update this. Okay, and then should be able to make this a ball is gonna have a position, so we do need a position as well. Making Pong? Yeah, I'm still making Pong. I'm just right now I'm making all the classes. So I mostly finished up the design here. I'm not adding all of the classes here, or like the methods, because I feel like they're pretty straightforward now, but I have a good design of like the classes we need. Mainly our physics. This is gonna be our drawing, like what we need. And then we have the main game class here. I need to make the AI class, so like something that can handle the algorithm for the actual enemy. And then we have a score class to handle our player one, or just our score for. We have a score object, so we can add that to a player. So a player can have a score, and then we can construct an enemy player and a regular player. We have a paddle, a barrier. So I noticed one thing is we have a barrier in the middle. Now we could just statically type that, but I think that if we have it go to where we need to be able to tell what side the player is on. I mean, we could technically just say left side, right side, but we need to be able to say, hey, here's the bounds, and then we could have a middle to say if it's on this side, it's this side's point, kind of thing. So yeah, that's the goal here. What is that Lucid app? Is it like a planner? Kinda, yeah. It's a UML. It's a diagramming app, so it's used for diagramming stuff. And I used it in school all the time, and I really enjoy it. It's really great. Let's see, we do need a position. So in our physics, let me put the ball in the source files. And then in the physics, we need a new class called position. Position's arguably the most important class that we get right, because that is going to tell us where our position, like the position of the player paddle is and the ball. and all sorts of stuff. And that will use that position to use the algorithm as well. But a position also has an acceleration and a velocity, so yeah, we'll need to include those. Acceleration, and then I do need a velocity class as well. So if I move that in here, update this, make a new class called velocity. It's definitely easier using CLion to program, like in C++, at least for the build systems, because it just updates it for me, which I really, really like. Also, let me see if I can turn my webcam down. Hopefully that's better. Yeah, anyways, a velocity class. And then the point of the object-oriented programming setup I have here is that we can create an object for everything here. I think the object-oriented programming gets really messy if you have a huge program and you can't keep track of stuff. But since ours is so small, it makes sense here. Makes it easy to keep track of the objects, and we can independently update our objects as well, which is nice. Meaning we can have infinite players if we wanted to construct them, just based on where we call them. But yeah, so right now we got a velocity class. Let's see, that can go back in our source files. I also need to figure out if there's a way for when I create a class, the header goes in the file that I created in, and then I can put the source file in the source folder, but I'm sure there's a way to do that. Let's see, we have velocity, position, acceleration, and then we need an angle class as well. So the angle will tell us the direction that it's going to bounce next. So we can actually keep track of that as well. It's also just good for telemetry and keeping track of all that. Okay, so for position, a position is going to have an acceleration, and it's also going to have a velocity. Oh, wait. Yeah, I guess it would have a velocity depending on what you're making. So if we had the paddle, it could also, the ball's going to have a position and a velocity, so we're going to need to be able to keep track of that. So yeah. And then we have a few different methods for keeping track of. Yeah, let's just kind of stub it out really quick. Position, we're gonna have, actually first let me do public, and then private, and then we're gonna have double X and double Y, and then we're gonna have acceleration A and velocity V, and these are all just going to be they're going to be initialized as like null essentially, but basically 0. There's a chance we'll need to put a default value in here, but for now it's fine. I think we're just initializing it as the default. Position is going to take a X, and then we'll have a default and a non-default constructor, and then we are going to have getters, and then setters, and then add, and then we're also going to have a method here for updating our meters from pixels. So This allows us to keep track of what engine are you using to draw the shapes. Just join the stream. I'm using OpenGL, so I'm basically creating all the shapes from scratch using vectors. So I'm gonna try and use like a sort of a mesh generator to use a JSON file to pull the correct data that we have. So I'll probably pass in like the vertices for the ball, for example, from a JSON file that can just get loaded, and then I'll give it a load path, and then everything will load in at the beginning of the game. So I'll probably use just a JSON file for this program since it's so simple. But yeah, I'm using OpenGL for all the graphical stuff. Add meters. Actually, it's not add meters, it's just meters from pixels, which is a conversion. And meters from pixels is a double. Let's see. I'm kind of just stubbing stuff out right now. Let's see, okay. Because I kind of made all the UML diagrams here for what our dependencies are. And it's helpful, but it takes a while to wire it all up. Because, like, for example, a paddle and a barrier need a position, and I need to have a position made first in order for that to work. So it just kind of goes in a weird order sometimes, but right now I'm just kind of stubbing stuff out before I start really working on... Oh, I just saw... We have 2 velocities. That's on... Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. Let's see. Delete. Yeah, that's fine. Perfect. Okay. I guess we could do also stuff about the ball. The ball is going to have a position, so we're going to need to include position. And it's also going to have a velocity. And it's going to have an acceleration because it's going to get faster as it bounces. But it's also going to need an angle. I believe. Yeah, the ball is going to be the thing that has an angle. And basically when the angle's that's in certain thresholds, it'll go faster, essentially. That looks good for now. Barrier. Paddle. Hope everybody's doing good tonight. Also, if you guys are new in the stream, feel free to join the Discord. And then also for the game difficulty, I'm kind of essentially carbon copying this game in OpenGL, but we're going to have 3 different difficulties, and we'll handle the game itself and the difficulty with the AI, but right now it's just being stored in enum, and yeah, that's how I'm handling it right now. Probably could be more efficient in other ways, but that's fine. So a paddle is going to have a position, and then we're also going to have some kind of acceleration to where I don't know if the paddle needs an acceleration. But essentially when we're moving up and down, it's going to need to be able to move at a certain speed, whatever the mouse input is. So it probably doesn't need an acceleration object because it's not like speeding up, but I just was thinking about that. Yeah. I mean, you can see here, the whole point of the algorithm is just to get it to track the location of the, we want it to keep track of where the ball is going. And you can see that the acceleration increases at certain angles, and then our score will increase. So yeah, and then whoever gets to 10 first wins. I think we got a good amount done tonight. I mean, we got a lot of the classes actually made. I think I want to make a directory for graphics. I'll just call it rendering. And this is where I'm going to put all of the texturing and rendering stuff. And shaders. And that just keeps all these kind of organized. But yeah, we got Pong, score. Yeah, and then I can honestly just make a directory for like the game itself. So we can put the player in the game. We can put the game file itself. The score is a part of the game. The difficulty is a part of the game. And the user input is not really a part of... I mean, it's a part of just the main program, so I think it's fine staying at the base level directory. There's going to be a few files like that, but we'll probably update that later. But it's coming along nicely. I mean, we got a decent stuff being made right now. So if we build the program, it shouldn't work because I see velocity.h not found. Oh, that's because velocity right here is finding the wrong. And you can see now that finished building. And right now our current build just makes a plain window. So we'll get stuff rendered soon. But I just wanted to get started, so I'm glad we made some progress. Anyways, I'm going to probably get off for now. Thank you guys for joining the stream. Feel free to join the Discord if you're new. And I'm just going to keep working on this at my own pace. And just have fun and learn. Anyways, have a good